Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Sandra here. I hope you're all having a beautiful day. And today I'm going to share with you guys a healthy parrot diet. So I'm going to break it down. Why diet is so important for our birds, what foods we should be feeding them, and what foods we should be avoiding. I hope that this video is going to answer all of your questions and be really helpful in helping you understand why diet plays such a huge role in your parrot's life and their behavior, and what are going to be the best and most functional, healthy foods to be feeding your bird on a regular basis. So a healthy diet is going to be essential for your bird. You also want to provide a lot of variety, because variety is going to offer various nutrients and minerals and vitamins. So variety is key also to prevent boredom with food. You wouldn't want to eat the same thing every day all day, so your birds don't want to either. Now, if you didn't already know, 30% of behavioral issues contribute to diet. So if you're seeing some behavioral issues like biting or pacing nervously in their cage, then it could be directly linked to their diet. If your bird doesn't want to interact with you or the family, the flock, then it could be a simple fix of just changing their diet. Let's take into consideration how food makes us feel. When we eat wholesome, healthy foods from the earth, then we feel rejuvenated and revitalized, and we have more energy, and we just feel good. And if we're eating a lot of processed and junk food, then we're probably going to feel more sluggish, maybe nervous, anxious, and things like that. And food affects our birds' bodies the same way. So for example, if a parrot is on a diet that's filled with a lot of nuts and seeds, this is a high-fat diet, and they don't really have the means to get rid of that energy every single day. So that can make them a little bit more edgy and moody. If you're seeing any of these unwanted behaviors, including screaming, it could be your bird screaming for a better diet. Healthy diet is also going to ensure that your bird lives a long, healthy, and happy life. But an imbalanced or incomplete diet can also lead to illness, which is something that we want to avoid. A lot of poor diets in parrots usually can result in problems with their liver, kidneys, and their hearts. So if we improve our birds' diets, and if we make sure that they're eating a healthy diet that's balanced and full of variety, then we can reverse some of these things, but also ensure that they are on the right path for a long life. So the recommended diet for your bird is going to be a diet that includes a variety of nutritious, freshly prepared, fresh foods, in addition to a formulated diet, eating pellets, and a small percentage of treats. So let's take a look at all of these. The first and foremost, this is going to be the most important thing in your bird's diet, is veggies. The best parrot diet is probably made up of 60% veggies, if not more. The more, the merrier, the more, the better. I actually would recommend 75% being veggies or a healthy chop in your bird's diet. Fresh vegetables are a great addition to your bird's diet. And just keep in mind that not all vegetables are equally nutritious though, even though vegetables are very important. Some vegetables like celery and lettuce are high in fiber and water, but are otherwise not all that nutritious. But dark yellow, leafy greens, reds, and different colors are going to provide an abundance of different nutrients and are excellent choices for your bird. You can offer vegetables in a variety of forms as well to entice them. So you can offer them fresh, whole, or chopped. You can offer them cooked and fed slightly warm. So there are a ton of different veggies that are safe for our birds, but I'm going to link in the description below a list of safe and unsafe foods for your bird that's on our blog. If you do a quick internet search, I'm sure that you can find many of these lists as well, just to make sure that when you are feeding veggies to your bird, you're feeding them all the veggies that are going to be good, healthy, and nutritious for them, and none that are going to be toxic or unsafe or anything like that. Now, we like to make the Bird Tricks recipes for their chop. It's from the Natural Feeding System, and it's in their cookbooks, and they're seasonal recipes for every season. So you just rotate these recipes throughout the year. I'm gonna leave a link in the description below as well, so you can check that out. Although, because I do like to play around with veggies and Mango's food, and I know which veggies he really likes and which ones he just kind of picks away, since he's been introduced and eaten so many vegetables in his life so far. I've also created a recipe for him, and it's called the mango recipe, and this consists of all of his favorites, so he doesn't skip anything in this chop and he eats it all up. So I'm going to share it with you guys here, because I did mention in a previous video that I was going to share more recipes for chop that I make for Mango, and this incorporates a lot of the healthy things that your parrot should be eating. The chop is something that we offer every morning and every evening for Mango, so he munches away on that, and then there's other things that he eats as well, which we will get into shortly. So let's take a look at the mango recipe. So the reason that I had made the mango recipe is because Mango wasn't a super fan of the summer chop recipe. So I thought, you know, I still want him to get his veggies in and all his healthy foods. So I made the mango recipe and he loves it. Every so often I make this for him. So it consists of 1 to 2 red bell peppers, 1 can of chickpeas, 1 can of red kidney beans, 1 apple, 1 carrot, 2 heads of broccoli with the stalks, 1 head of cauliflower, 1 cup of cooked barley or brown rice. And you're just going to chop all of the veggies, and if you can sprout your own beans, that's going to be even better. But if you're in a pinch, then make sure that the can has nothing else and it's just straight kidney beans and chickpeas. And then you're going to cook the grains, meaning the barley or the rice, and then let it cool down, and then mix everything together, and then let your parrot sample it, and then you're going to freeze it in portion sizes so that you have it fresh. The next thing that should be in your parrot's diet, but in small quantities, because high carbs will translate to more body weight, is grains. Birds can be fed a variety of nutritious grains, including cooked brown rice, quinoa, oats, wheat, barley, and pasta. They are also a great way to sneak in veggies, because usually birds love grains. I haven't met a bird that doesn't love grains yet. Mango really loves rice and pasta, that's whole grain. And if your bird is being introduced to a new veggie or a veggie that they're not eating, you can sneak it in and mash it in with the rice, or sneak it inside the pasta if it's like a pasta noodle, and try to get them to eat veggies that way as well. We just want to be mindful of how many grains they're getting. So if you're following a chop recipe, then they're probably getting the right amount of grains per day. Sometimes it can be offered as a treat, or if I'm like cooking pasta, I'll give Mango a piece, why not? Remember that too many carbs can result in excess body weight, so we want to make sure that we're not overfeeding grains. Next is beans and legumes. These are another great healthy addition to your parrot's diet. So cooked legumes such as beans, lentils, and peas are going to be excellent addition to your parrot's diet. Next is fruit. Fruit is great and healthy and awesome for your bird, but it is something that should be fed only several times a week, maybe about 2 to 4 times a week as a snack here and there. It's not something that should be in their diet every single day because it is also high in sugar. So we want to make sure that we're not overfeeding fruit. Many birds love fruit, and if you allow them, they will overdo it. So we want to make sure to limit the fruit. As with vegetables, many of the deeply colored fruits contain a lot of great nutrition, and it's great to also try feeding a variety of tropical fruits for your parrots that they might also be exposed to in their natural habitats in the wild. So Mango actually really loves mango, and he also loves bananas, and another favorite of his is apples. Just remember that fresh foods will spoil after a couple of hours, so you don't want to keep these fresh veggies or fruits or chop recipes in their cage for too long. Definitely not all day, so it should be cleaned out after some time if they're not eating it anymore, because you don't want them to have access to spoiled food. Next is going to be treats, and treats are something that should be fed in moderation and in limited amounts. So treats are going to include nuts and seeds, but you always want to choose raw, unsalted, natural nuts and seeds, including sunflower and safflower seeds, or almonds, pistachios, cashews, walnuts, things like that. But you also want to make sure that you're giving them proper portion sizes. So if you have a small or medium-sized parrot, then you want to break a nut into several pieces, whereas if you have a larger parrot, then you can probably give them a full almond. But I would never give Mango a full almond as a reward or a treat during training. I would usually break up an almond into like 4, maybe even 6 pieces. And birdie bread is another really great treat that's kind of disguised as a healthy snack as well. So if your bird likes birdie bread, then you're super lucky. And if they don't, you can introduce it to them and get them to figure out which birdie breads they like the most. In addition to their daily consumption of veggies and a healthy chop that's filled with veggies, grains, beans, and legumes, you're also going to want to offer them high quality, organic, natural, cold pressed pellet. Now, it's really important which pellet you choose because there's a lot of junk food pellets out there or colored pellets, and you want to stay away from those. So really good brands for pellets are Harrison's, Tops, and Bird Tricks. Pellets are going to provide a balanced, nutritious diet and prevent birds from picking out their favorite food items and leaving the rest. Pellets should be offered only in conjunction with their fresh foods that you're offering. If you have a bird that doesn't really like their veggies or has previously been on an all-seed diet, then pellets can be offered as a staple and should always be available to them. This is going to make up for any deficiencies that they have in their bodies. Pellets on their own are not a good enough or adequate diet for your bird, but it's something that should be fed in conjunction. So I like to actually always have pellets available to Mango throughout the day so that if he's hungry or if he's munching, then he always has something healthy to go for. Once a week, you can also offer your bird some freshly cooked chicken or an egg, but this is not something that should be part of their diet on a regular basis. So you've probably seen on Instagram Mango eat chicken before because he would steal Lambo's freshly cooked chicken, but this is not something that he has regularly. It's literally once in a blue moon because I just don't know how I feel about birds eating meat. But I know in the wild they do eat insects, so eggs are a good choice for them and they're okay to have once in a while. Mango loves eggs as well. And saving one of the best for last is sprouted seeds. So sprouted seeds might be one of the best and most nutritional things that we can offer our birds. They are an excellent source of nutrition and a great way to supplement with greens. Freshly sprouted seeds are a nutritional gold mine because the seed mobilizes its nutritional content into a highly digestible and bioavailable form as it starts to grow. Sprouted seeds are also rich in vitamins and minerals and enzymes and antioxidants. And some even consider this to be nature's perfect food. And the last thing when it comes to your bird's diet that's going to be very healthy and good for them is clean water. So you want to make sure that you're changing your bird's water dish about twice a day or whenever you see that it's dirty. But I definitely change Mango's twice a day, and each time you change the water, you also want to make sure that you're cleaning the bowl, that it's not contaminated, because if you just change the water in a contaminated bowl, then the water is going to be contaminated. So make sure to wash the bowl. I wash it every single time, and I always offer Mango either bottled water or filtered water. I don't like to give him tap water because tap water is not always the best, but it also depends on the country that you live in. It can be fine, but I just prefer to give him more purified water. It's good for our bodies and it's good for theirs. Stay hydrated. Now, a common question that I get is, how do I get my bird to eat veggies? And I did cover this question in a recent Mango video. It was the Q&A. I'm going to link it above so that you guys can check it out. And I mentioned some ways that you can get your bird to eat vegetables. But the first thing is offering it in different ways and maybe different temperatures. Like you can offer veggies, I mentioned, raw and chopped or whole, or you can steam them and offer them cooked, but slightly warm, but make sure it's never hot and cooled down. You can also make tons of fun recipes. You can provide them in foraging toys. You can try making kebabs. Mango loves fruit or veggie kebabs, or a combination of both. You can also eat the foods, the fruits or the veggies or the grains that you want your bird to try if they're reluctant to eating it, and have them watch you eating them, and then they're probably going to want it because you're eating it, and you're also modeling and showing them what to do with the food and that it's meant to be eaten. Another great way is to incorporate these foods or veggies, these healthy foods, into some of their favorite foods to get them to eat more of them or to even try them. If your bird is not eating pellets, then you can also hide them in foraging toys for skeptical parents, because this might entice them to be like, ooh, what's that? Let me try. So let's quickly talk about what foods you should avoid. And again, that link in the description below is going to list out unsafe and toxic foods that you should not offer your bird ever. You should never offer your bird junk food or any foods that are high in salt, sugar, or fat. Birds are also lactose intolerant, if you didn't know, and even though they are going to love cheese or yogurt, this is something that should only be offered in very limited amounts. I know Mango loves yogurt, and I've offered it to him in the past, but I don't offer it anymore, and I just prefer to avoid the foods that are not going to be healthy or good for him. There are a whole list of toxic and unhealthy foods for your bird, so I encourage you to check that list. But just keep in mind, avocado, chocolate, and rhubarb are highly toxic and should never be offered to your bird. You also want to make sure that you're never offering your bird caffeine, so they should not be taking a dip in your coffee or alcohol. Don't let them into that martini or a glass of wine either. Not the beer, nothing. Onions are also not good for them. Sprouted lima, fava, and navy beans, fruit pits, and apple seeds are also on the list of things that should be avoided. They should not be eating all the things that we eat. And you also want to avoid those like store-bought treats, the ones that are like seeds in honey and dried fruit and all that stuff. All those like store-bought treats are not going to be a good option for them. You're better off just treating them with birdie bread, fruit, or nuts and seeds that are raw, natural, and good for them. And last but not least, you also want to avoid a seed diet or too much seeds in their diet. Seeds are very high in fat and very low in nutrition. So an all seed diet can actually lead to a lot of deficiencies in your bird, and these deficiencies can lead to issues with their liver and their kidneys and other little organs. Now, that's not to say that seeds don't have a place in an avian diet, but just think of it this way. Seeds are basically junk food for birds. They love them, but they shouldn't eat too much of them. So that's it for today, guys. I hope that these guidelines for a healthy parrot diet are helpful, and I hope that your birdie is going to love their veggies and eat them too, and live a long, vibrant life. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.